Good afternoon. You're listening to the Indie Author Show on Callan FM. That music always means that it is time for Sue Miller and the Indie Author Show. Run Around Sue is my signature song to start off the show for this fortnight. I'm very excited actually to be... I'm in the studio alone, but not really alone. I'm virtually with 7 women who I'm going to be playing their interviews that I did back in December for the book launch in London of a book called She is Unstoppable. And it is a book with stories from 12 different women, and they are sharing their stories of kind of the adversities that they went through their lives and how they've overcome them. The sort of subtitle of this book is 12 Women Share Their Inspirational Journeys Through This Beautiful Adventure Called Life. And actually, you know, that's what we're all doing right now is where some of us are dealing with the snow, but there's many adversities that we face throughout our life, and it's how we deal with them and how we learn and grow from them. And that's what we've learned from the stories of these women. The curator of the book is Jennifer Hardy. And so I've been really privileged to meet with these women at the book launch that we had in London back in December the 8th. And they just had a second book launch, a signing in New York just last weekend. So I'm very excited to bring the stories of some of these women to you, and hopefully the interviews that I did with them remotely, they will sound great on the radio. So it was my first time, and I'm looking forward to sharing that story with you. I also want to talk to you about the Wrexham Carnival of Words, which is coming up sooner rather than later. It's in April, the 27th of April to the 4th of May. And again, it's all over Wrexham, different venues, loads of authors, workshops, things coming to you. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that and tell you how you can get more information. It's not until April, but that'll be here before we know it, because it is almost February as we speak today. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about a book called She is Unstoppable, and it's got the stories of 12 very inspirational women from all over, some from America, some from the UK, but they are global women. They've traveled all over the world and they've experienced many things, good and bad. Jennifer is the woman who pulled all this together, Jennifer Hardy, and I had the privilege of meeting her in person at the launch in London as well. Jen has written a very heartfelt note at the start of the book about why she pulled this together. She found these women who were willing to share their stories, and when I mean share their stories, they don't really leave much out. So if you are a woman who is struggling a little bit and feeling all those things, surrounding guilt and what should you be doing? Can you share your emotions? Can you really build a business? All those kinds of questions that come into your mind. I think by reading this book, you'll see that you can overcome them if you really want to and you really try. Jen is an amazing woman. She's a beautiful singer. She's going to be starring in the stage show of Evita soon this year. And she just she does a lot of coaching and provides a lot of inspiration for women who are going through these kinds of questions about what they're supposed to be doing here. What is their purpose in life and in business? So my first interview I had is with Jennifer Hardy, and I'll play that interview now.
Well, this is very exciting because I've got Jennifer Hardy with me today at the She is Unstoppable book launch, and it's just been full on here in Soho in London. I'm having a great time. Jen, you've got pulled together 12 very inspirational women, and it's a fantastic book, so congratulations. But just tell me a little bit about why you wanted to do this book.
Of course, thank you so much for saying that. It's been an emotional day, actually, seeing it all come together. And the book was really born out of a place for me of darkness. It was a sad time for me. It was in the summer of last year, which was 2017. What are we on now? My goodness, no, the summer of this year, 2018. And I had just lost a friend to cancer. I had another friend battling cancer. My husband had been diagnosed, if you like, with alcoholism. And I was trying to keep myself running a business and 3 kids. And I'm going to be honest, things just hit the fan and I was exhausted mentally and physically, and I spent one evening just lying in bed feeling probably the loneliest I have ever felt. Yet I have this network of thousands of incredible women. I have a family, I have children, but I was lonely, I was really lonely, and I felt in a moment that no one could possibly be feeling the way that I was feeling at that time. And actually, a little voice kind of came up saying, you're never alone. Everything that you're going through, someone has gone through, and they came out the other end stronger. And off the back of that, I wrote the next day into the Facebook community and I just said, I'm going to write this book. I don't really know what's going to happen or how it's going to unfold, but I'm looking for 12 women who have a story. Do you want to be a part of that? And I had hundreds of responses. And we did interview processes and all this kind of stuff. And at the end of, I think, about a month and a half, 2 months, we had these 12 incredible authors. So the book was born out of a place of real sadness, but it has been very much, for me, a healing process, as well as being a real cathartic project for the women to be involved in as well. And I think that we've all came out of this extremely strong.
No wonder you're very emotional, because it's a beautiful book, and I think are 11 of the 12 authors here today?
Yes, 11 of the 12 authors are here. We have the beautiful Cassandra Quilly. She is in Las Vegas at the moment. She is a complete digital nomad and travels the world, so she's not here with us this evening, but the rest of the 11 authors are here, and some have flown in from the States, which is just incredible.
Now, this is an international bestseller. It's on Kindle, it's on Amazon.co.uk and .com and every other Amazon that you can find. And so anybody can buy this or download it from Amazon. She is unstoppable. You are the curator, and you've brought together these lovely women, and I've got to meet them tonight as well. So thank you very much. And is there a dedicated website for the book, if you want to just share that?
Yeah, there isn't at this moment in time, but there will be soon. We have we're in auction at the moment for www.sheIsunstoppable.com, but you will be able to find it on my website, which is www.jenniferhardy.com. You can find it on there, and of course you can find it on Amazon at the moment as well. But yeah, we're almost just a little kind of twitch away from getting that .com website address, but go to the Hardy one first.
Okay, and it is volume 1. It says right on the cover, volume 1, so that means that there's got to be another one. So congratulations, you've done a fantastic job, and thank you very much for letting me be a part of this as well. So good luck.
Thank you so much. And I will say, Sue Miller, that the plan was to have lots of different people help us get this book to production, and you obviously came along as if by magic and appeared, and your input and your experience, your expertise, your passion that you've shown towards this, and getting it out there as quickly as we have managed has been irreplaceable. I could never thank you enough, I don't think ever, for your part in this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Jen.
So that was Jen Hardy, and my interview with her back in December. We had a book launch in Soho in London. It was lovely, and you could hear singing in the background. We had canapes and some bubbly and a singer who's a good friend of Jen's. So it was a really good time. So if you heard in the interview, you can buy this book on Amazon as a paperback and on Kindle as well, so you might want to do both. Sometimes I like to read some books on Kindle, and then I'll also like to have the actual physical book with me so I can write it and mark it up. 12 stories, 12 chapters, fairly short. I'm just trying to think, maybe around 1,500 words to 2,000 words per chapter, and they each tell their own story. They've got their photograph in here as well. But the main thing is that they've kind of shared where they've been, the things that they've been through, and how they've come out the other side. So, on the back cover it says this book uncovers the lives of 12 global leading influencers, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs by stripping back the glitz and glamour and deep diving into the real, authentic roller coaster, the wonderful and the heartbreaking moments of their lives. It's really difficult. I can't go through every single story, and that's why I thought I'd bring to you the interviews. I've actually interviewed 7 women from the book. Jen's a curator, so there's 6 of the 12 women that I did interview at the book launch. We'll go to a track, and then I'll come back with another one of those interviews.
I'm now with Joanna Petrie-Rout. Is that right? Yes. Okay. And Joanna, I just wanted to ask you a few questions about why did you want to be in this book? It's full of inspirational stories from very powerful, inspirational women. So when you were approached, what made you want to be a part of this?
I wanted to be part of this because I know I'm not the only woman who has felt the way I did a few years ago. So I'm midlife now, and I've had a great career. I know there'll be other women that have had the same kind of situation where they've done something that they've been really proud of, but have got to a crossroads in their life where they just intuitively feel inside that they're here to do something more. And that's what I want to help women uncover, is that possibility they've got within them.
Well, it is a very inspirational story. You'll have to read it. What chapter are you?
I'm chapter 7.
Right, so you have to read it. You have to, especially the bit about the coast-to-coast walk. That's very interesting. So, Joanna, thank you for being with us today and just telling a little bit about your story. And could you just give us your website, please?
My website is www.no-ordinary-woman.com.
Well, thank you again for joining us, and good luck with the book.
So we heard from Joanna, who's chapter 7 in the book. The right time is always now. And each one of these ladies who are featured in the book, they do have their websites where you can, and their Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, however they are on social media. So you'll be able to find them. And, if one of their stories resonates with you, then you can get more information, and perhaps they can help you further. Something that they speak about might particularly resonate with you. And I think that's why Jen wanted this book, because she knew that everybody has a different story. Some people react to them in different ways. And hopefully someone, at least one of the ladies in here, will say something that just resonates with you and help you to make some changes in your life. And also to see that you... There is things that you can go through, parts of life that you can go through, that you can still come out the other end and have a successful life, deal with all the juggling of the family, the children, and the business, and still be a very strong, powerful, influencing woman. That's what I got from each of these women, all different ages, all different walks of life. And some have traveled globally, and some haven't left their little area of influence. So, it's sometimes I think what we do need is we talk to people, or we do have, maybe we do a bit of networking. We meet different women, men who all inspire us in different ways. But actually being able to snuggle up on the sofa, take out your little highlighter pen, or just mark up things and say it within the book and say, gosh, that's exactly how I was dealing with it. That's exactly how I was feeling. And look at how she's coped with it. And it's, I guess, just a message of hope and how you can move on from the things that you've experienced that may be positive. So maybe a lot of things that have happened to us, we can look at it from a negative point of view, but it's really how do we come out the other side. So one of the ladies, well, actually the woman who introduced me to Jen and got me involved in the book from the publishing side of it with Team Author UK is Cheryl White. Now, Cheryl lives fairly near me in Birkenhead. I met her through BizMums, which is a networking organisation all around the UK for mums with young children, and another fantastic group that if you're in the UK you should look up, bizmums.uk. Biz, B-I-Z. Now, Cheryl, she started out as a nurse in her life, and then I think as she started to she had a family, her young children, she realized that all these hours that she was putting in was just really killing her, and so she decided to start her own Apollo Care company, and where she could serve. I think she was looking at just a few clients, but where she could have a little bit more control over her time. So that's how Apollo Care came about. And then she was talking to her accountant, bookkeeper, who suggested franchising might be the way forward for Apollo Care, where she could sell sort of the concept of Apollo Care to other people, and they could then take that ethos and develop it in all parts of the UK. Well, she became very, very successful, and then she kind of had to do everything herself and learn about franchising. So she took the whole everything that she's learned, and she started up another business called Mercury Franchise School. And so now she teaches other businesses how to franchise their business. So that is Cheryl White. Cheryl introduced me to Jen, and that's how I became part of this collaboration to get She Is Unstoppable out there. So let's listen to my interview with Cheryl from the book launch in December.
This is Sue Miller, and I'm at the book launch of She Is Unstoppable. I'm in London, and I'm having a fabulous time with the 12 authors. Now, one I'd like to ask a question, my first question to, is Cheryl White. Now, Cheryl is the owner of Mercury Franchise School, and she's chapter 2 in the book. So, Cheryl, I just wanted to ask you, why did you want to be a part of this book, She Is Unstoppable?
Hi Sue. Jem approached me a couple of months ago and asked me whether I wanted to be part of the book, and I said yes straight away. Really, for the reason is I wanted to inspire as many women as I could to be able to believe in themselves and to start their own business. I think it's hard for women to progress in their career, and even harder for women to be able to take that leap and to have faith in themselves and actually value what they do. And that's what Mercury Franchise School is all about. It's empowering women. It's telling women that it's okay. It's okay to have a family. It's okay to want to work, and it's okay to be the main breadwinner, of you, so to speak, in your family. And that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to tell my story. I had no business background at all, and I've grew a multi-million-pound business. And if I can do it, any other women can.
Thank you, Cheryl. It is very, very inspiring. I was lucky enough to do the editing and help with the publishing of this book, and there's 12 women in the book, and you're one of them, and you're very inspiring. And so, thank you very much. You're from Merseyside. If anybody is interested in franchising, then they can get in touch with you, and just tell us what your website is.
So my website is www.mercuryfranchiseschool.com.
Great. Thank you very much, Cheryl.
So that was Cheryl White, who's chapter 2 in the book. And the next lady that I want to share the interview with is Shannon. Now, Shannon is chapter 12. Shannon is an incredible woman from America, just full of life, and I just loved getting to know Shannon a bit more, and hopefully I'll get to see her again one of these days. She puts it all out there, and her chapter is chapter 12, called From Corporate Burnout to In Love with a Beautiful Life. Now, I kind of can resonate with that myself, because I was part of corporate life when I lived in Canada, and it can take a lot from you, and sometimes you're sitting there thinking, why am I doing this for somebody else? So eventually, you find your way, but you do learn a lot, and I think that's probably the biggest message through the whole book, She Is Unstoppable, is that everything that you experience in life, you learn from it. You just move it on to the next chapter of your life, and don't have any regrets. Just what can you take from what you went through, and how can you make changes, and how can you make it better? So let's listen to Shannon.
Well, I am with Shannon Garrison Nagy. What a mouthful. Now, Shannon obviously is one of the authors in the book She is Unstoppable. So, Shannon, I just want to know what made you want to be in this book and what kind of message do you have for women?
So it's funny, I'm actually a one-on-one client of Jen's, so I've known her quite a while this year, and when she put it out, it was just one of those things where I knew immediately, like my intuition kicked in, and I said, you have to do that. No, it doesn't matter what it costs, just do it. And I didn't know what it was going to become. I just knew I had to do it. So so now we're here and the book is out and it's very unreal. And I think for me, my biggest message is I come from a corporate background, and I never in a million years imagined that this is where I'd be. If you'd asked me 3 years ago, you'd be doing a book, you'd be on your own, you'd be trying to, or I should say, working on building this other life outside of that corporate identity you had. I would have thought you were insane. And now I think the message is that, you know what, you can do anything you want. And if you decide that the box you're in is not the box that you want to be in anymore, then you should get out of it. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is just to tell women around, and especially moms, because I'm a mom, that you can do other things. And it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be crazy. You can do something else other than what you're doing.
And even if you need to start something part-time, just to give you that, just the confidence, really. But yeah, I think that's where the life that we live now is, that nothing is impossible. And I think being online gives us more opportunities and so on. Would you agree?
Yes, I would totally agree. I think until I really got involved in the online space, I had started a part-time gig, and that was kind of started to be, I knew there was another way out of what I was doing. And so it's all kind of evolved into now I'm helping other moms to get out of their situation, or change their situation, I should say, because not every situation is a bad thing. I mean, if you have income and you're providing for your family, to step into doing something else can be extremely scary. And I think it's just knowing that no matter what it is that you want to do, you can do it. And I think that's what most of us, we're not taught that, right? We're not taught that brought up, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in the States. We're not taught that. We're taught to go get a job, go do the right thing, support your family, but don't support them doing something that's maybe or maybe not going to bring you income. So I think that's the biggest thing, is to just realize if you want to go do something, you 150% can do it. And yeah.
So you're there to support people, and can you just tell us what your website is then? You are the last chapter in the book, aren't you? Chapter 12. But save the best for last, don't they say? But just tell us what your website is in case people want to have a mooch around and see what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's www.shannongarrisonnegy.com. And you can find me on Facebook too, same name, or LinkedIn or Instagram.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us today. Good luck with the book.
So we're talking today about a book, a collaboration with 12 women plus Jen Hardy, the curator, and myself, who helped with the publishing. And I know there was several other people involved, from editing and paring down the stories, doing the cover, the printing. It's a beautifully printed book as well, from a company in Liverpool. So, a lot of people, a lot of hard work went into producing this book called She is Unstoppable. And I'm just bringing you some of the interviews that I did at the launch of the book in London in December, and then just last weekend it was launched in New York as well. Many of the authors were at the New York launch. So, what, other than the fact that it's an inspirational story about women in business and kind of what they went through and how they overcame things, I just wanted to mention something about a book like this itself, that if you're a woman or a male in business, that often having a book to go alongside your business is a very clever thing to do, because as soon as you are an author, you are considered an expert in your field. It's just something obviously a little bit more in depth than a website or a business card. I know it's difficult to do, but team author is there to help you through the process. But I just want to speak to the people out there who are considering doing a book that, it's really not that difficult if you have the right people to help you. And it is something that can enhance your business. It can show people that you know about your topic, that you have something that you can share on social media. This is an Amazon bestseller, so that's something that all of these authors are able to share with their followers, their tribe, so to speak, to say that they're part of an Amazon best-selling book. So, when you are in business, especially if you're in business for yourself, you're always looking for something new to talk about, or you've got to be on social media. What should I talk about? I don't want to keep telling people the same old thing. So having a book draws people. It gives you something to talk about, gives potential customers something that they can go and download your book or buy your book in paperback, so they can find out more about you, what you do. It doesn't have to be big. Some people have just a little bit of a, could be 8 to 10 chapters. It could be 30,000 words, probably would be what you're thinking of doing. Minimum 30,000 words. And then, because you don't want to give it all away either in the book, you don't want to give away all your secrets and everything that you do for your clients. So the book is just something that they can access to get more information, and then hopefully come to work with you. So just people who are listening, if you are in business, think about that. And again, we can help you to figure out the minefield of what you then need to do. Doesn't have to be long, just has to be informative, and it has to be a reflection of who you are, who you really are, and what you do for a living. So I just want to put a shout out and congratulations to Jen for pulling this all together, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to go and get 12 different women to all share their story and to pare it all down and get it edited and make it into a book that has become an Amazon bestseller in both America and the UK. So, it's taken a lot of work, but I know each one of these women are very, very proud to be a part of it. And Jen's done a fabulous job of getting it out in the media, and again, using this as a tool for each one of these people's businesses. I kind of feel like it's a bit of the United Nations listening to these interviews, because we've got I've been just listening to them. It's quite interesting hearing all the different accents. So, I'm Canadian, and then we've got Americans in there, and Jen's Scottish, and Cheryl, of course, had the sort of Merseyside accent that is very hard to miss. Now, the next person we're going to listen to is Robin, and Robin's actually Canadian as well. So it was lovely for me to meet Robin, though she does live in America now. So her accent's somewhat blended, but Robin is in chapter 1. And leading off the book. Well done, Robin. And so let's just hear a little bit from Robin and what she felt about the book and what she contributed.
I'd like to talk to Robin now. Robin, you are chapter 1 in this book, and it's a book about 12 very inspiring women. So actually, for all my listeners, my normal listeners, I love Robin already, even though I just met her, because she's Canadian. So Robin, just tell us a little bit about why you wanted to be a part of this book.
Of course. So yes, it's amazing to meet another Canadian, first of all, and the last name is pronounced Chevry, and that's the New Brunswick pronunciation. My brother-in-law actually made a speech about it at our wedding, so that's a story for another day. But I do remember being, 6 or 7 years old, and I had been writing and poems and stories and things like that. And even into like high school years. And I always remember thinking like, I'm going to be an author someday. And it kind of fell to the wayside. It was something I didn't think about growing up, or as I got into my career and things like that. I really pushed a lot of those creative sides of me away. And as I started my own awakening, my self-development journey, finding myself and finding my purpose in this world, working with other women to do that very thing for themselves, part of what I knew would come someday was a book, because it was a way to reach so many more women. And I remember actually having a call with my coach and saying, I know a book is coming. I know it's coming. I don't know when, sometime in the future. I have a lot going on right now. It's a lot to figure out, of course, if you're, starting from scratch. And a week later, I saw the post from Jennifer. A week later, and I thought to myself, if this isn't a message from the universe to just say yes to your dreams and say yes to the things that you've always wanted, then I don't know what is. So I said yes. I got on the phone with her and jumped in. So.
Well, sometimes they do say that if you want to be a success, say yes and then figure it out later. Now, exactly what is it that you do, and just tell us what your website is. So, you are chapter 1 in the book, She is Unstoppable, so we can find out about you there. But if you can just tell us a little bit kind of what you do and how you inspire women, because you actually, I know you're Canadian, but you live in America now, you live in Florida, and just give us your website.
Yeah, of course. So I work with a lot of women who are just getting into the online space, trying to figure out what it is that they actually want to be doing, who it is that they want to be serving, how to become visible in that space. I started my first online business as an MLM, and I found there were a lot of gaps there just for how to help women actually show up online if they wanted to build it online. There was a ton of gaps in giving them the confidence, making them feel empowered, and also helping them set a bigger vision, because you hear a lot about setting a vision board and things like that, but I didn't know what I wanted. I had no idea. I was following what everybody else was saying, I should want for my future. And then I realized that nobody else could tell me what that was, and I had to really look within myself. And so I do a lot of, most of my clients actually say that I'm a very unique business coach, because I do energy work and mindset work, and I help you when you're just, not feeling like yourself and you're not in your power. I help you get back to that space so that you can build your business, but not just your business, your life, right? Your relationships, how you treat your body, everything that goes on in your life has an impact on your business, because where you show up in one area is where you show up everywhere.
So just tell us what your website is then, and if anybody wants to get more information.
Yeah, of course. It's www.robinchevarie.com. So that's Robin with a Y, and then it's CHAVARIE.
Thank you so much for coming to talk to us today, and good luck with the book.
So that was Robin, my Canadian friend, and sharing just, and as I said earlier, how this book has helped her, and it helps her with her clients. I want to before we run out of time, I've got a couple more to share with you. So I want to take you right into Rebecca Hawkes. Now, Rebecca is chapter 3. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. The first paragraph of Rebecca's says, "My life has been full of transformations. Some have taken months, others a matter of weeks. The biggest one, and the catalyst for my future transformations, happened a few months before my 21st birthday." And so Rebecca takes us through some unbelievable stuff that she's been through in her life. But I've never seen anybody smile as much as I saw with Rebecca. She just always has a huge smile on her face. And when you pick up this book, you'll know what I mean, because the picture has that gorgeous, beautiful smile of hers, and just very, very proud and pleased to have met her. So let's listen to just a short interview with Rebecca Hawkes, who is chapter 3.
I'm now with Rebecca Hawkes, and I'm going to ask you, why are you in this book? Why did you answer that call from Jennifer Hardy to tell your story, share your story? Because it is a very remarkable chapter. You have to read that. So yes, just tell us a little bit about you then.
I feel like I wanted to be a part of this because my story isn't just my story. It is a story that so many women around the world have. And it's a story that so many women around the world are scared to share. And they have every right to be scared, because we face judgment and criticism and, in extreme cases, disownment from our families. And I think it's important to open up this conversation and say, you're not alone. You have people that can support you and that can stand next to you and be with you if in this time of need. And if you're experiencing something this traumatic and this difficult to deal with, you've got people there that can be with you. And that's I really wanted to kind of share that with people and say, you're not alone. Nobody is alone. You are allowed to make the decisions that you need to make for yourself, and that is fine. That is not anything for you to feel guilty about or to worry about or to beat yourself up about. Like, you're allowed to make those decisions for you and for your life, and you're not alone. You have someone there with you every step of the way.
Great. Well, it is very inspirational. And what chapter are you, 3? Yeah, chapter 3. So just to find out more about what Rebecca's talking about, you need to buy this book, She is Unstoppable. Now, Rebecca, can you just give us your website, please?
Yeah, it's www.RebeccaLucyH.com. So it's Rebecca spelled the normal way, like REBECCA, Lucy, LUCY, and then H for Hawks.com.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
On the Indie Author Show on Callan FM, we've been listening to 7 different women from the book She is Unstoppable. And you can find this book on Amazon, both paperback and Kindle. She is Unstoppable you can find on Facebook, and sheIsunstoppable.com is the website, though I'm not sure if that's live yet or not, but you can go to Jennifer Hardy's website and just look for She is Unstoppable on Facebook as well. So we've got one last interview to listen to. It's Bridget, who is chapter 11, and Bridget's all about being the positivity coach. She's traveled the world and has a lot of experiences. One of the places she lived in was New Zealand, which is where I've lived as well. So actually had a lot in common with many of these women. So it was very I don't know, it was just a very exciting project to be a part of, and I'm looking forward to being part of Volume 2, because there will be another book. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the women that I did meet, and thank you to Bridget, Cheryl, Jen, Joanna, Rebecca, Robin, and Shannon for the interviews, and to the other ladies that I didn't get a chance to interview because I was only down in London, and then I had to take the train back home on the same night. But there was Paulina, Kate, Megan, and Cassandra. Cassandra actually wasn't, she was the only one who wasn't at the London book launch, and Joyce and Natasha. So didn't have a chance to interview them, but you can read their stories. Again, just go to the amazon.co.uk or .com and look up She is Unstoppable. It's a completely black cover, so you'll recognize it, and it's volume 1 with the curator Jennifer Hardy. So we're going to listen to Bridget's interview before I take you out of the show and into the final track of my show this week, Hi by the Lighthouse Family, which I find is one of my most inspirational songs. So since we're talking about inspiration today, I wanted to end the show with that. So first we'll listen to Bridget, and she's chapter 11. And also, just quickly, I mentioned at the top of the show about the Wrexham Carnival of Words, which is a literary festival in Wrexham from the 27th of April to the 4th of May. If you go to WrexhamCarnivalofWords.com, you can find our whole program, and tickets are now available online and through Wrexham Library. But can I just say a big shout out to Jen Hardy and all of the authors from She is Unstoppable, and thank you very much for the interviews, and thank you for coming part of my life, and for the stories that you've shared and the inspiration that you've given to many women around the world. Good luck, and I look forward to Volume 2. And we'll close off with Bridget.
I'm with another author from the She is Unstoppable book. I'm with Bridget Zuka. I did it right. Now, Bridget, was curious when I've been meeting with all the authors today as to what made you want to be a part of this collection of inspirational stories. Obviously, your story is very inspirational as well, but what made you want to be a part of this book?
I think it was like important as women like all come together to share our stories and to tell other women that anything's possible, that they can also be unstoppable and do what they want to with their life as well. It's just kind of taking the courage and inspiration from other women who have been there and done similar things. Like there's a similar theme going through. We all had different adversities we faced in our life, but we're still alive and we're still fighting fit and doing what we love.
Yeah, so it is. I think everybody that I've talked to today, they felt like they just wanted to share their story with other women and just kind of, if they're going through a low point, or just to say, you know, they're not alone. Because sometimes when you are going through things like that, you do think you're alone. And so this way, as you say, you've gone through adversity, but you've come through it. So, you know, I'm really proud to be a part of this book as well. But can you just tell us what your website is if anybody wants more information?
I don't have a website anymore. I had the Body Positivity Coach. Is how you find me on Instagram and Facebook, also on Twitter as well. But yeah, it's like my main thing is social media, just getting involved with people, messaging people directly, getting the message out there about how they can approach their life and feel better about themselves.
So that's the Body Positivity Coach, yeah, on Facebook and Instagram. Great. Okay, thank you very much, Bridget.